Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, everybody? This is Joseph Collin coming to you with your AEW Dynamite review on Wednesday, April 22nd, 2020. And we came on last week's show, and last week was a very lackluster show with our piss-poor main event, which was just really disappointing. And the only real highlight of the show was Chris Jericho and Kip Sabian versus Chuck Taylor. That was last week. This week, however, AEW had a much better show than they did last week. Tonight's show was really good, in my opinion. We got two really damn good TNT Championship Tournament matches. We saw Jimmy Havoc versus Orange Cassidy, and, the squash matches we saw tonight as well. They were really effective, in my opinion. The Warlow squash match made him look like a monster, and so did Brody Lee. So we're going to talk about everything that happened tonight on Dynamite. It was a really good show. We're going to have a really good review tonight, folks. It's going to be no screaming like I did on Monday Night Raw with Nia Jax, or no screaming on SmackDown with The New Day. It's going to be relaxing. It's going to be fun. So grab your popcorn and have a good time listening to me talk about AEW Dynamite. But before we get to the AEW Dynamite review, make sure you guys go check out recent videos that I've done right here on the Big Fight Fuel channel. We got the Monday Night Raw review that I did on Monday, and the Dark Side of the Ring review last night with Dino Bravo. If you haven't already, go check out those videos right now, or after this video's over. But without further ado, hey man, let's start off with this Dynamite review. And we started with Cody. He looked like it'd be at some production truck, and he had 4 TV screens, and he was listening to Darby Allin. He was looking at photos of clips of Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, Kip Sabian, Dustin Rhodes, and Lance Archer. Dustin's the natural. Kip Sabian is super bad. Sammy Guevara's the Spanish God. Lance Archer's the murder hawk. Darby is this crazy man. But what am I? What is Cody? Cody called himself the American Nightmare. He said that he needed this, like he said a few weeks ago. Those guys are really good, but I have an advantage of the experience that Cody has. And this was basically the same promo that Cody cut 2 weeks ago on Road to the Road to TNT Championship Tournament, but this was still really damn good, and a really good promo from Cody. But we open up the evening with Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin, and oh boy, they're opening up this show hot tonight. This was excellent. I took notes for 3 of the matches tonight, and this is one of them. So we're going to break this down by what I got on my notes right here. I thought this match was excellent. And it would have been better with the live audience, but it was still really damn good for what it was. So, Darby, he's making his entrance, and Sammy Guevara hits a huge top rope dive over the top rope onto Darby Allin. He throws him into the barricade on both sides. Sammy has this blue construction ladder. He lays it in between the ring and the guardrail with the heels, the side with the heels on it. He sets the ladder in between the ring and the barricade. Sammy does a beautiful frog splash onto Darby Allin. The ladder did not break, but goodness gracious, man. The landing that Darby and Sammy both took looked absolutely brutal, and these guys are crazy. for going for this spot with the small room they have. And they didn't have enough separation with the ladder in the ring, so the ladder was not going to go through. But my goodness, man, that landing that both of those guys took looked absolutely brutal, and that was a sick spot with Sammy Guevara. So now we get back from commercial. Darby is in the ring. He's saying ring the bell. Match starts. Sammy covers Darby, and Darby Allin kicks out. He puts Darby on the top rope, and Darby traps Sammy Guevara, pulls the man's boot off, and he's biting his toes. Darby Allin is a sick human, folks. He is biting the toes of Sammy Guevara. I wonder who came up with that one. Probably Darby, because that man is insane. Darby Allin then goes after his foot, elbows, stomping on his foot. Sammy does a beautiful springboard cutter off of one foot, so he's barely got his foot on the rope. He's got one boot, and he does a cutter, which looked absolutely beautiful. Darby has an ankle lock on Sammy Guevara. During the ankle lock, we notice that Darby is bleeding from his nose, so I don't know what that came from. It could have been from the ladder spot, but I have no idea. Both are giving each other forearms while sitting down, and then they're standing up, giving each other forearms. Sammy kicks him in the face with the bare foot, and kicks him in the face with the bare foot. Darby, Jesus, man. Darby killed himself with this spot right here. Darby goes for a suicide dive, and he misses and eats the guardrail. Like Sammy Guevara moves, and Darby Allin is full speed, hit the guardrail. That looked absolutely brutal, and he ate that freaking guardrail, man. Sammy is on the top rope. He hits a 360 splash, and Allin grabs the rope. Darby gets caught by Sammy, while Darby hits his top rope move, legs back. He gets caught by Sammy. Sammy goes for his finisher. Darby catches his leg, puts him in the Last Supper, and Darby Allin defeats Sammy Guevara in the quarterfinals of the TNT Championship Tournament. This match was excellent. Absolutely excellent. And if this was the finals of the TNT Championship Tournament, and this was the kind of match we've got, I would have had no problem with it whatsoever. Quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, whatever. These guys risked it all. They entertained us, and this match was excellent. They could have not started AEW Dynamite tonight any better. Darby Allin moves on, and next week we're getting Darby Allin versus Cody. So we got a promo package by Matt Hardy that he hasn't answered. Chris Jericho hasn't answered him, and his challenge for the Elite Deletion match at the Hardy compound, and he said that Jericho was scared of his broken brilliance, and none of the Inner Circle members have mentioned him except the fake Spanish god Sammy Guevara. So then he says if Sammy Guevara is going to do your dirty work for you, then I invite Sammy Guevara to the Hardy compound for the Elite Deletion match. And then he realizes that he's scared of the broken brilliance, and he has the regular Matt Hardy speak. So we got broken Matt Hardy and regular Matt Hardy. So I love that they're doing two characters with Matt Hardy. He's got his personal side, and then he's got his broken brilliance. I love that, and I think we could be heading for either a Jericho Matt Hardy match at Double or Nothing, or a Sammy Guevara Matt Hardy match at Double or Nothing. Either one, sign me up. That's gonna be great. Allin Angels versus Kenny Omega, and this was a pretty damn good match. Kenny Omega is so damn good. I know you guys all, it's obvious. We all know that Kenny Omega is damn good. He proved tonight he can have a damn good match with anybody. He gave indie wrestler Allin Angels a damn good match. And he actually got offense in on Kenny Omega, and he kicked out of his V-trigger as well. Absolutely unbelievable. But then Omega power bombs him at the end and gives him a V-trigger, and Omega pins Allin Angels. Really good match right here. I thought this match was pretty good for what it was. Omega gets the win. Scorpio Sky. We had a video package for Scorpio Sky. And he was like his underdog, and 12 years old he started wrestling, and wrestling was his life. And then he in 2008 he hurt his back, and the doctor told him, well, you can either have surgery, go on a medicine, and if you go on medicine, you might not be able to wrestle ever again, because this back surgery was so bad. So then one day Scorpio woke up, and all of a sudden his back was feeling fine, and he was working out, and he went back to train, and he was feeling really good. And then 2017 SCU formed, and it said to be continued. This is really good. It's like what WWE is doing with Jeff Hardy on SmackDown, which I really like. And if this means that Scorpio Sky is getting a singles push in the SCU group, which he should, you should have Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels as the tag team, and Scorpio Sky as the single star. I'm all in for that, man. Scorpio Sky is so underrated, and I think he opened a lot of eyes with his match against Chris Jericho back in November. We go from that to Jimmy Havoc versus freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. I took notes for this match as well. Break it down. We'll talk about and give you my thoughts. Here we go. Havoc attacks Orange Cassidy during his entrance, just like Sammy Guevara was to Darby Allin during his entrance. So Havoc goes to attack Orange Cassidy. He chokes Cassidy with his jacket around his neck, chops Cassidy, pulling his shirt down. Jimmy Havoc throws Cassidy onto the guardrail. Looked absolutely brutal. Havoc gives Cassidy a vertical suplex onto the floor like he did last week. He throws Cassidy onto the post, chops him, and then pokes him in the eye. We go to commercial. Irish whips Cassidy, who gives him a boot, and then Jimmy Havoc gives Cassidy a DDT. Havoc gives Cassidy a clothesline into an arm breaker, and then he's biting both of his hands and puts them in his pockets and gives him a stiff right punch. I said this earlier with Darby Allin. I said Darby Allin was a very sick man. You could say the same thing for Jimmy Havoc. That man is sick for biting the hands of Orange Cassidy, and Jimmy Havoc will make you suffer. That was a cool spot for Jimmy Havoc, I guess. Cassidy fights back. He gives Havoc a suicide dive, throws him into the ring, gives him a beautiful crossbody, hits a top rope DDT, and Havoc kicks out at 2. Havoc gives him a big right, gives Cassidy a big right, and then Cassidy comes back and gives Havoc his version of the Superman punch, and he gives him the lazy splash, Chris Jericho called it, who was, once again, fantastic on commentary tonight. Chris Jericho is gold, and we'll talk about that when we get to the Bubbly Bunch. But he called it the lazy splash, and Jimmy Havoc kicked that out at 2. He said, "You're not going to get a guy like Jimmy Havoc to get pinned from a lazy splash. You got to do more to him." Back at forearms, Cassidy is slowly chopping the chest of Jimmy Havoc. Penelope Ford then comes out the crowd, out the wrestlers, distracts Orange Cassidy. Chuck Taylor grabs her foot, lets go of her leg, and she does a split right in front of the Best Friends. Kip Sabian comes in, does a dive onto the Best Friends. Over the top rope dive onto the Best Friends. Penelope Ford goes for a Hurricane Rana onto Orange Cassidy. He ducks. It distracts Jimmy Havoc. Cassidy rolls up Jimmy Havoc for the win. After the match, Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc attack the Best Friends, and the Best Friends fight them off, and Sabian and Havoc run away. Now, the match is good. Okay, just get that out of the way. The match is really good. Orange Cassidy, the people who say he sucks as a wrestler, he's lazy. You got proven wrong at Revolution, and you got proven wrong again tonight. The man is really good, and him and Jimmy Havoc had really good chemistry as well. But this pairing of, number one, I got two things to say. Well, I'll just say one of them right now, because I said this last week. Orange Cassidy does not work in an empty arena. Orange Cassidy's gimmick relies on fan interactions, and if this match took place in front of a live audience, if Orange Cassidy's TNT debut took place in front of a live audience, I feel like this segment would have been much better than it was. But it was still a good match. But imagine if this was in front of a live audience, this would have been great. This would have been great. And Dynamite was supposed to be in Philadelphia tonight, but this stupid virus came around, so the show got postponed, and I couldn't go tonight. I'd be in my seat doing a vlog for you guys tonight. Sucks. Damn it. But hopefully I go back on July 29th. But you get the point. This match would have been better without a live audience, and I don't get the pairing of Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc. Yeah, I know you're probably running out of tag teams because not because they don't have tag. My God, just most of the tag teams are stuck at home quarantine. You got the Young Bucks, Jurassic Express. Marco Stunt's the only one there representing the Jurassic Express. SCU, Private Party, Santana and Ortiz. We haven't seen Evil Uno and Stu Grayson in a while. We've got a lot of tag teams on. Hangman and Page and Kenny Omega with Hangman out. We don't got a lot of tag teams on AEW right now. We got the Best Friends. That's why we're seeing them every week. But I don't get this pairing of Jimmy Havoc and Orange Cassidy whatsoever. Just because they're British, they're both British, doesn't mean they can be a tag team. It doesn't, and they both have two totally different gimmicks. Kip Sabian's a super bad and has Penelope Ford with him, and Jimmy Havoc's a killer. Makes people suffer. I don't get it. We got the Best Friends, Chucky T and Trent versus Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc, and a tag team no disqualification match next week, so should be good, hopefully. We go from that to a MJF video package. He said earlier this week that he suffered an injury. He could be out for a while. It looked like he hurt his arm, but he said he hurt his arm gambling with Sean Spears back on the first Empty Arena show. So he called it life-threatening too. And he's got a sling on. It looks like he's got a cast around his pinky. And he said, "We will get through this, and I will come back, and I will be the AEW World Champion." So it looks like when MJF comes back, we could be seeing MJF versus Jon Moxley for the World Championship, which is something we've all been talking about for a while now. Lee Johnson versus MJF's manager / wrestler, Wardlow. And I said earlier that tonight's squash matches were really effective. This was an effective squash match. Lee Johnson sold his ass off for Wardlow, and Wardlow looked like a freaking beast with his power slams and over-the-shoulder suplexes and his finisher, man. Oh my god, that airplane looks frightening. Wardlow gets the win over Lee Johnson, and that's it. This was a really effective squash match. I liked it. We then saw the weekly Brody Lee video package. We saw Brody Lee in an office. She was on the phone with a woman named Samantha. He was watching. It looked to be a football game. And then he was in a meeting with one of the Dark Order minions. And he said, "You played college football, huh?" And he said stuff like, well, we don't have to work for what we get in AEW. We're handed it. We're the Dark Order. We do what we want, and all that stuff. It was good. And then we saw Justin Law, another indie wrestler, go up against Brody Lee. And Brody Lee beat his ass in about 2 minutes. Squash match. Like I said, very effective. Made Brody Lee look like a monster. A legitimate monster. And freaking turned this man inside out with his clothesline. He stared down Marco Stunt at the end, looking to take out Marco Stunt. And indeed, we are getting Marco Stunt versus Brody Lee next week on Dynamite. R.I.P. Marco Stunt. That's all I'm going to say. We then got this week's segment of The Bubbly Bunch with the Inner Circle. And this week, Sammy Guevara was feeling all down. He's like, "Guys, we've been on a downward spiral as of lately. I'm not really feeling it. Jake lost in the World Championship match to Jon Moxley last week." And then Santana and Ortiz were like, "It's all good, Sammy. That Jon Moxley cheated against Jake Hager. And if we were there with them, Jake Hager would be the new world champion." And then Jake Hager said, "When we get back to live audience, we will, I will get my hands back on Jon Moxley." And then Jericho said, to brighten up the mood, "How about we dance?" So they're all doing dance videos. And Jericho was great in this. Santana and Ortiz were dancing. Jake Hager was dancing. Sammy Guevara was dancing and doing flips and all that. And it was funny. It was really funny. That's all I'm going to say. AEW knows how to do comedy. Orange Cassidy, the Bubbly Bunch, Chris Jericho. Yes, folks. WWE is horrible at comedy with the freaking Lashley Sisters segment and the wedding, and R-Truth's their only good comedy guy that they have. AEW is very good at their comedy. Simple, easy, and short. Love it. Main event of Dynamite tonight. Quarterfinal TNT Championship Tournament match. Kip Sabian versus Dustin Rhodes. So in the beginning of the match, Dustin Rhodes offers to shake Kip Sabian's hand, and Kip refuses. Dustin works on the arm of Sabian and drops a knee. Dustin hits a shoulder tackle and hip tosses Sabian. Rhodes hits a few chops on Sabian. Kip does some great technical wrestling. Kip Sabian is so underrated. Love him. Rhodes runs to the turnbuckle, goes for a knee, and he misses, and he hits his knee on the turnbuckle. So that's a open margin for Kip Sabian. Kip Sabian goes after the knee. He Irish whips Rhodes, and Rhodes trips because of his sore knee. Kip hits a drop kick. Dustin kicks out at 2. Rhodes rolls up Sabian for a kick out, and Sabian misses a drop kick once again, and Dustin rolls him up again, and Kip Sabian kicks out. Kip hits a discus lariat. Wrestlers start to hype up Dustin Rhodes. Sabian runs to the ropes, and Dustin hits a beautiful spine buster and hits a bulldog. One of the things that I love the most about this match was how analytical Chris Jericho was about Dustin Rhodes' knee. He's like, you could see that every move Dustin Rhodes is doing, it affects his knee. It's making his knee worse, and it's making Dustin Rhodes more exhausted. And it's actually giving the evidence to Kip Sabian. I love that. I love that Jericho said that, and he's giving that analytical advice, telling us what's really happening. That was one of my favorite parts of the match. Rhodes then hits a power slam. Kip Sabian kicks out. Sabian hits a huge over-the-top rope DDT, and Dustin Rhodes kicks out barely at 2. Sabian lays punches to Dustin Rhodes, and the refs pulling back Kip Sabian. Aubrey Edwards pulls back Kip Sabian. Penelope Ford then comes into the ring. Brandy comes in to interfere. She hits a big spear onto Penelope Ford. That distracts Kip Sabian because he sees his girlfriend down. Dustin hits a picture-perfect Canadian Destroyer on Kip Sabian, and Dustin Rhodes defeats Kip Sabian and will not retire. Now, before I give my thoughts on this match, I've got to say one thing in the beginning before I start talking. AEW did a fantastic job hyping up this match with Dustin Rhodes and Kip Sabian, with Dustin Rhodes calling Cody, and he's like, I'm not taking Kip Sabian lightly. This TNT Championship Tournament means everything to me. If I can't beat Kip Sabian, I will retire. And then the video package they played with Dustin Rhodes and Kip Sabian talking was great. And they really hyped up this match, and it got me excited to see Kip Sabian versus Dustin Rhodes. This was a good match, a pretty good match between Kip Sabian and Dustin Rhodes. So now your semifinals is set for the TNT Championship Tournament. You got Cody versus Darby Allin next week, and Lance Archer versus Dustin Rhodes. And that's your AEW Dynamite review tonight, guys. Really good show. A big rebound from last week's show. Really proud of that. This show was really good. And I'm looking forward to next week as always. Thank you guys for watching this review. If you haven't already, subscribe right here on the Big Fight Field channel. Comment down below what you thought of tonight's Dynamite show. I thought it was a really good show tonight. Like this video with a super kick. You can follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. You can follow me on Instagram at Colin_Joseph. You can follow me, and then you can follow Eddie on Twitter at Eddie Mullins 515. Guys, I'll be back right here tomorrow for your NXT review. I did not hear a single thing what happened on NXT tonight, or I just saw the tweets and I forgot what people were saying. But I might go watch a little bit of it now and the rest tomorrow. But I'll be back for your NXT review tomorrow, right here on the Big Five Field channel. Have a good night, guys, and stay safe.